Hello, welcome to Texas Long Wolf Mig How your source for Red Pill Truth. Today we're going to touch up on a topic on children actors, child actors, actresses. You know, children that go in the movie industry. They make money acting on the film. All right. Recently in California, the 1930s, or I forgot, 1939, they passed a bill for children who are acting in the movies industries. They were paid money. All right, so to speak, they were paid money to act. All right, so here's the problem. They were paid money. Now the parents or whoever's in custody, whoever that child is in custody of, can't take that money and belong to the parents. To me, that's pretty damn selfish, if you ask me. So we have that same entitlement mentality today. So I'm going to go ahead and put this picture up here. So Jackie Coogan turned 18. He found out a lot of this money, which was $4 million in the 1930s, has been spent by his mother. She argued that no promises were ever made to give Jackie anything. In other words, what do you call putting a bunch of children in a mine to dig for resources to be exploited by corporations and a mother? They're both the same thing. Mothers, if you love your child, would you rob your child of the hard-earned money and claim there were no promises made that the money belonged to the parents? Do you have that mentality? If you do, you are one selfish POS of a mother. And, okay, every dollar the kid earned before he's 21 belonged to his parents. As a result, in 1939, California Child Actors Bill was passed. It was known as Coogan's Law. It was known as Coogan's Law. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to dig into this, all right? Now, we're going to talk about this. Being ripped off by your own parents. Being ripped off by your parents. When you go and work, you earn your money. Your parents have no right touching that money just because they're parents. They have no damn right touching it. All right. Child stars can't be trusted with money they earn, so they usually go straight into the bank accounts of the parents. But are mom and dad being really trustworthy? These are the top 10 child stars whose parents were skimming off the top. Remember Home Alone? Macaulay Culkin? Oh yeah, this is his mom and dad right here. Look at this. The 16-year-old was well and truly Richie Rich when he sued his parents to relinquish their control over his money. He was emancipated from his mother and father, ensuring he spent his Christmas alone too. 13 million pounds of his hard-earned cash was removed from accounts of Patricia Bentrup and Kit Culkin. Talk about getting even with Dad was placed under control of family accountant Billy Brittner until Michaela was a good son, turned 18. Court case saved him and Uncle Buck, or two child star often do. He went to become a party monster. There's no more Macaulay Culkin movie title puns that were relevant. We checked. All right, there's another one. Mischa Barton. I don't know how many of you remembers The Sixth Sense? She was a star in that. She had extrasensory perception when it came to figure out her mother was dipping into her own daughter's coffers. For years, Mischa's manager and mother, Noella Barton, report lied about the wages that Mischa was paid and pocketed the differences. It was only when adult Mischa discussed payment with producers on a 2013 horror movie that she realized Mama Barton was getting rich off of her, so she already made her. So Mischa filed a lawsuit claiming her mother stole the money to buy a $5.9 million house. Barton withdrew the lawsuit in early 2016. Oh, okay. How many of y'all remember Gary Coleman? Okay. We can't figure out Chuspa required sue one's own parent, but Gary Coleman's parents countersued him right back after diminutive actor took them to court for misappropriating his money. Having this found his war chest practically empty upon turning 18, Diff'rent Strokes star won the case and was awarded approximately $1 million in damages. After his lawyer had taken their share, the actor squandered the rest on bad investment filed bankruptcy with no more than $76 in the bank accounts. Leighton Meester. All right. The Gossip Girl star always had a strained relationship with her mother, who gave birth to her in prison. Later in life, Constance Meester fleeced her daughter for £5,700 a month, which she claimed was going toward medical bills for Leighton's brother. But it transpired she was using cash to fund an increased lavish lifestyle, including cosmetic procedures. Leighton sued her own mother in 2011, and during that case, she claimed Constance threatened to sue her back for $2.3 million if she started sending her even more money every month. Leighton won the case and presumably now has fewer Christmas cards to write each year. Remember Amanda Bynes? Amanda Bynes. And former bright and perky child star took a turn for the Lohan in 2014 when she went on a series of mad rants on Twitter, some of them addressed at her parents and their alleged management of her money. I'm so mad at my parents, she tweeted. They're withholding my belongings and my money from me, so I don't have new clothes or enough money to rent an apartment. Whether or not Bynes' mother and father were actually mismanaging her finances is up for debate, as they were given conservatorship over her estate after a mental health episode, which Amanda was hospitalized and kept under evaluation for 72 hours or 3 days. Ariel Winter. How many of you watch Modern Family sitcom? As Alec Dunphy's Smarty Pants kids in Modern Family, Ariel Winter was used to clashing with her parents. It was nothing like the problem she faced with her mother in real life. Crystal Workman was alleged to have abused her actress daughter both physically and emotionally, slapping her in the face, insulting her constantly as far back as 2012. Winter tried to wrangle back control of her earnings, but the court did not grant her request until 2014, when the permanent guardianship was given to her older sister, Chanel Gray, along with control over earnings. Wow. Jenna Malone. All right. In 1999, the young contact actress accused her mother of squandering over millions of dollars of her earnings, taking Debbie Malone to Supreme Court because she was unable to pay her own taxes. At the same time, Jenna Malone sought emancipation from her mother after claiming her acting some income was being handled improperly. Her mom then threatened to move Jenna, then 14, to her apartment to Vegas, which would effectively end her career in Hollywood. Supposedly, Jenna would have an account of with at least 275 million pounds in her name. Instead, it only contained 60,000 when she turned 15. Jenna was granted emancipation and moved out to live on her own. Corey Feldman. You know what, people? We are learning some new things. Teen dreamboat Corey Feldman must have thought his parents were magicians when he was growing up. They made his fortune disappear. Feldman began emancipation proceedings at 15. He claims it started to trend despite being told he was worth $1 million by the time court-ordered bank records were returned. It revealed that Feldman's parents only left him with 30,000 pounds. I knew how to read a contract by 10 years old, but I did not know what it meant for somebody to come in and tell me they love me and kiss me goodnight, said Feldman. Oh my goodness. Shirley Temple, another one, another child star. Shirley Temple was also a victim of this. The original child star Temple was pulling an astonishing rate of 190 pounds a week from 20th Century Fox in the 1930s. That's a lot of lollipops. But Temple only saw $20 out of pocket each week after her mother and father took their share. She grew into stardom. Temple was pulling upwards of 7,600 pounds a week. But again, her parents didn't know how to handle her money, and her fortune was largely squandered by her father, against whom Temple claimed to held no grudge. But she's retired at age 22 with 44 feature films under her belt. The $2.4 million she acquired was actually more like 33,000 pounds. Now, Jackie Coogan. Now, that was one thing I covered, okay? This was in California when they made the Coogan's Law. And that Coogan's Law should stretch across the 50 states in the Union to it should be expanded to all 50 states to protect child actors and actresses, to put the money in the trust for them and them only. All right? And anyways, Coogan was the kid that changed everything. The child star who made his debut along Charlie Chaplin in 1921. The kid leaped to stardom immediately. By the age of 18, he already had 19 movies to his name. Talented, check. Famous, check. Rich, not so much. Jackie's mother and stepfather took all of his $4 million fortune and didn't give him a penny. No promises were ever made to give Jackie anything, said his mother. Well, I'm pretty sure she's in hell burning for robbing her own child. You've done to the least of my brethren, or done to any of the least of these little ones, you've done it unto me. That's what the Lord said in the Bible. I'm pretty sure she's in hell suffering for this, what she put this kid through. Every dollar the kid earned before it belongs to the parent, Coogan sued in 1938, wants to only award £96,000. When the case got media attention, it led to a creation of California's Child Actors Bill, known as Coogan's Law, which required that a child actor's employer must assure at least 15% of his or her earnings is placed in a trust for them and them only. It should be 100%. It should be 100%. Okay, if you go to work for an employer, okay, anyways, you know, I've already read this. But yeah, it's child media celebrities. Okay, in one case was Shirley Temple, and anyways, um, minors. Okay, minors work their asses off to earn their money. Okay. One major difficulty employing minors is that assumed by law, due to their age, they're incapable of understanding the contents of a contract. Therefore, under the common law infancy doctrine codified by California in 1872, children has the right to disaffirm contracts of more than just basic needs, food, clothing, etc. It means children have the right to break contracts, include employment contracts, without facing any legal repercussions. This is reached by credit card companies, for example, refuse to sell credit cards to people under the age of 18. Child needs to indicate they wish to disaffirm a contract. So, minor party to a contract has right to disaffirm. The other party to a contract, i.e. credit card companies, is obligated to uphold their end of the deal. So, anyways, Shirley Temple was screwed out of the inheritance. So was Jackie. All right. This is common. Okay. The film is desperate to recruit and invest time and money into young talent, but the minor's right to disaffirm a contract discouraged them from doing so. By 1920s, Hollywood is operating under the studio system. Actors received long-term contracts from companies, approximately 7 years, were paid millions of dollars to star exclusively in the company movies. Okay, however, the child actors enjoyed the right to disaffirm their contracts. They could jump ship to a competitor at any given moment. Production companies needed contracts that would prevent competitors from snatching child actors at the height of their fame and earning potential. Alrighty. In 1927, California legislature responded to pressure from the film industry. Cali Civil Code for removal of minors' right to disaffirm a contract once the contract was approved by the Superior Court of the county where the minor resides or is employed. Production company like Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, had to find a judge to approve the contract for Miner to be legally bound by it. There was no standard that a contract had to reach before it be approved, leaving children with no means of escaping them. That's the first I've ever learned that this actually happened. All right. Anyways, and the problems with the law were exposed. One of the first and most famous child movie stars grown up working under these laws turned 21 as a young boy. Jackie Coogan was cast in the lead role of Charlie Chaplin's hit movie The Kid. The movie brought Jackie global stardom. He once stated, "I had the flu in New York, and it pushed the president off the front pages." Therefore, the news rocked the nation when it discovered that Jackie's mother and stepfather spent almost all of Jackie's $3 or $4 million income, leaving him financially destitute. So, do mothers love their kids enough to make them destitute? Mothers, I'm talking to you. Would you love your kids to take their money and spend it on yourself? In 1938, at age 23, Jackie sued his mother and stepfather and won. After legal fees, Jackie was left with a mere $126,000 to his original fortune. The state of California rushed through a legislation become known as Coogan's Act. This granted judges the discretionary power to require all the contract set aside some of the child actor's income in a trust or a savings account, only to be opened when the child reaches the age of a majority. And this money that was put away is supposed to be taken away from the child's net income after any managerial fees and other fees have been subtracted. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this here to you. However, Coogan Act contained loopholes that left the child actor financially vulnerable. For example, Judy Garland's mother requested to be paid a stipend that came out of her daughter's salary. In return, Judy Garland's mother promised to chaperone Judy and ensure she has obeyed the studio's demand. A similar arrangement was made for the mother of Elizabeth Taylor, who took 10% of her daughter's salary in exchange for being Elizabeth's manager. Even parents who had their child's best interests at heart found it difficult to manage the child's wealth. When 22-year-old Shirley Temple asked her father, who managed with difficulty the money she earned as a child, how much money was in her bank account, he informed her only $44,000 was left approximately $3.4 million she had made as a child store. From 95, the parents of Macaulay Culkin, a Home Alone fame, wasted enormous sums of his income in a custody battle for their children, to the point, according to the Manhattan Supreme Court Justice David Saxey, there's real possibility of this millionaire and his family being evicted and left without any home. Now, California Coogan's Act remained unchanged for 61 years until revisions were finally made. Right here. In 2000, it is now necessary for a minimum of 15% of a child's earnings to be placed in a trust, no longer at the discretion of the judge. Additionally, 15% must come from child actors' gross income, not their net, protecting it from being reduced or by management or secretarial fees, which income earned by a child actor is legally recognized as a child actor's property is no longer the property of the parent or guardian. So California not only revised it, what the law in California was adopted in New York, all right? They had a trust account for the child in New York. So, child entertainers are exempt from the federal labor laws created by Federal Labor Standards Act. Now, children that are acting, they should have bumped that 15% up to 30%. Or actually, they should bump it up to actually 40%, to be honest with you. And put it in a trust and let it sit there for that, only for that child to, or that actor to touch. Okay? Child entertainers are exempt from federal labor law, FLSA. Okay? Which means they are completely dependent on state law to protect them. 17 states have no specific laws for child entertainers, so child actors are protected by general labor law in most states. In states where laws are inadequate or incomplete, child actor may turn to trade unions such as Screen Actor Guild, American Federation of Television Artists, to protect them for a fee. Okay? That's like a union. All right? Fortunately, current protection makes it much less likely than it was in 1920 for child star actor to have Jackie Coogan's experience. Contract law states like California now recognize the power imbalance between vulnerable children and movie executives, and child actors' experiences change for the better results. Now, there's no difference. There is no difference in using children in these other mines to extract resources for corporations to turn around and profit off that labor. So, yes, parents can exploit their children's wealth in the name of, oh, I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to that, I need to help my child manage. And they're going to take their best friends to a friggin' restaurant and eat at the child's expense, or go have their hair done, or perhaps go squander it off. Parents like these need to be thrown in prison. Just saying. If you're going to take your child's hard-earned money, then you shouldn't be a parent. You should be a prisoner, inmate. I hope this video has impacted many people to realize children work for their money. They should be entitled to keep their own earnings. They just like everybody else got to pay taxes on it, don't they? All right, well, until next time, you take care of yourself and peace.